So let's get to it with UConn head football coach Jim Mora joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Coach, how's it going?
It's going great. How are y'all doing?
We are fantastic. We're so excited to learn a bit more about Christian. We've been talking so much about Byron getting picked in the first round, 16 overall. We had to wait so long to see Christian go that we didn't get as much time to react, so we're happy to have some insight. I saw you retweet something from Jim Nagy, and you said that it's exactly what any NFL organization is looking for, from the player to the person. Christian is as good as I've ever been around. Tell us a bit about Christian, the person, before we get to the player.
Oh, he's high character, high quality, tremendous morals, has a great moral compass, high ethics. I mean, he's just a great kid. He's very understated. He's quiet. He's serious. He's very secure in himself. He just has tremendous leadership ability. He's coachable. I'm a Seattle guy, right? And I was so happy to see the Seahawks draft him because I know what he's going to add, not only to the Seahawks organization, but the Seattle community. He is, as I said, he's as good a person as I've been around in 40 years of coaching. And I'm really excited for him. As a Seahawks fan my whole life, I'm really excited for the Seahawks.
It's good. What's up, Coach? Good to hear from you. But it's awesome to hear that they're getting a good person. You know what I mean? But now let's talk about the football player. If I turn on the film, which I've done already, but if I turn on the film, what's the first thing I'm going to notice about this young man?
How tough he is. He's consistent, but he's dog tough. I mean, nothing rattles him. He's going to fight through the end of every play. He's going to play with great technique and great fundamentals and great effort, but there's an element of mental and physical toughness to him, a nastiness that I think you have to have at that position in order to be successful in the National Football League. He'll practice that way. He'll play that way. And when I say that, he's a guy that is going to be able to play with a nasty edge, a toughness, but he's never going to take it over the line and hurt his team. He just doesn't do that. We played out Tennessee last year. Some pretty good players at Tennessee, some pretty good players in the SEC, and he dominated. I mean, he absolutely dominated the interior of our offensive line for us, so much to the point where they became so frustrated late in the game that they started taking some cheap shots at him. After the game, they kind of came after him, and he was able to keep his cool and get out of what could have been an ugly situation. I think we all saw the clip from the Senior Bowl where, in the one-on-one pass rush, it's heated, it's intense, it's emotional, great competition. Defensive lineman pulled his helmet off and threw it. And rather than react in a way that would hurt his team on game day, Christian just went and put his helmet on and just kept going to work. And so as a coach, you love that. You love a guy that's going to exhibit great toughness but never do anything to hurt his football team.
Well, yeah, that led me into my next question because it was going to be, there's a couple spots I looked at when researching him, and it says he has the ability to get under the opponent's skin. So that's exactly what you're talking about. It just relentless, beat you up, but do it in a way that doesn't hurt the squad. I love that.
Yeah, and he's very talented. He plays with great leverage. He has tremendous balance. He's very powerful. He was the unquestioned leader of our football team last year. And even into the year before. And he's a guy, when he says something, everyone reacts because he doesn't say a lot. And, leadership's about your actions, not your words. And every action that he ever takes really represents what you're looking for as a football coach or an organization. Now, I was really excited to see him go to Seattle, really excited. You guys picked up the city of Seattle picked up two UConn people in the last couple of weeks. You got Nika Mule with the Storm. Mm-hmm. And then you got Christian, and they're two of the finest examples of what a coach is looking for on this campus. We're really in the country, in my opinion.
Were you surprised to see that he fell all the way to 81?
I thought that he'd probably go in the second round, but, guard's not necessarily a premium position, and you can get guards a little bit later in the draft. So, the thing about the draft that I learned in my 29, 30 years in the NFL is that nothing should surprise you.
Right.
The complexion of the draft changes every time a pick is made. Everyone has different priorities. Guys are ranked differently. When something happens that affects what's going to happen to someone down the road. So I wasn't surprised. I had hoped that he'd go earlier, but the fact that he's going to Seattle, my home team, I'm ecstatic about it for the Seahawks and for Christian. I mean, he's going to do very, very well there. I think it's going to be, he's potentially a guy that'll, he'll be a mainstay. He'll be there for 15 years, and he certainly has that potential.
Was there a moment where you realized that you might have found some gold in this young man? Was it training camp? Was it in an actual game? Can you kind of pinpoint the moment where you realized you had something special?
Well, I only got here 2 years ago, and when I first met him, your first impressions of him are just a very mature, intelligent, put together young man, and very serious, as I said, and that feeling just kept growing. But he's the guy that, when things aren't going well, he doesn't get down. He's trying to rally everybody. Now, he's not a rah-rah guy, but he's doing it more by his actions. When things are going well, he's not letting anybody get carried away. He's a guy that, as a coach, you can count on every single practice. But I would go back to that Tennessee game this year where, those are really good players at Tennessee. And, and the way he played, the way he conducted himself, I just went, what? This really confirms all the things that I've been learning about this young man over the last couple of years.
I think it's important because he was a team captain, correct? And I think that, this is a team coach that's been looking for. Dwayne Brown was here for a couple years, and he was just unquestioned leader there. And then he was gone. And I think that they've been kind of searching for that, and they're so young. Could you talk just a bit more? You've talked so much about Christian as a person. It's so clear how high you are on him. But what was behind him becoming team captain? It's not often that you see a guard be team captain.
It was his actions. It was how he conducted himself daily. It was the standard that he held himself to, and he held his teammates to. It was the way he worked every day. It was his attitude when things were going well, when things weren't going well. He's just a man. And it's going to take him a while to work into a leadership position at that level. I mean, you have to establish yourself on the film or on the field. You have to, establish yourself in the locker room. He's not going to come in there and be a rah-rah guy. He's not going to try to impose his personality on people. He's going to let his actions speak for him. And you're going to find a guy that when you deal with him and he's dealing with the media, he's going to be a straight shooter. He's not going to ever do anything to embarrass the organization or the city or himself or his family. And I think, over time, and I don't think it'll be a long time, there'll be a lot of people in that organization, players and members of the staff that just go, wow, we've got a gem here. I mean, this guy's everything we want as a player, as a person, as a leader. We can build around him for a long, long time and have the trust that he's always going to do the right thing for this team and this organization.
Everything I've seen on film shows that he's just a good overall player, right? He can pass, block, can get after it in the run game. But is there something specific that he does that you think makes him elite when it comes to comparing him to other guards?
There's the way he competes. But in terms of his physical skills, I think, we run a lot of outside zone, which is a very common scheme in the NFL, and he's athletic enough to sift through the front line and get to the second level. If you're going to run a power scheme, he's got the ability to pull and kick out or pull and turn it up and get to the second level. He can really anchor well in pass pro. He plays with very good leverage. He's got long arms, so he can sit and anchor and probably handle, some of the better three techniques that he's going to see. He might need some help, but, I think he's got very good ability to protect. And then he's very intelligent. So this is interesting. This is great. I'm glad I thought of this right now. So there's an award. Now, this is pretty cool now. There's an award that our academic staff, the UConn academic staff, created last year to recognize academic excellence. And it is named the Christian Haynes Award.
Aww.
They named it after Christian. And so to me, that's just an amazing example. They did it while he was still here, as he was graduating. I mean, he graduates this weekend, but it's just crazy that they would name the Academic Excellence Award after him. Usually the guy's gone 5 or 6 years, and they go, hey, let's recognize what this guy did. But they named it after him when he was still on campus, and they did it at our awards banquet last year. So I thought that was really special.